Howdy everybody, David here, and this is my bi-monthly April 2019 Digital Dungeon Master on what's going on for whenever until I make another video. So it's been getting tougher and tougher to make videos. I mean, it just has. You know, my full-time job at Fantasy Grounds is really demanding, and then now, especially with the Kickstarter announcement that on May 1st, the new Unity version will be out. Well, it'll be out on Kickstarter. The program won't be released until later. But yeah, it's been super busy, and wow. So I'm doing as much as I can, guys. This is a one-man operation. A lot of people have sent me messages and why aren't I making more videos and stuff, and it's not that I don't want to. I miss making a lot of videos. It's just, unfortunately, you know, real life is just super busy right now, and I'm trying to do as much as I can. So but there will be some videos. You know, I've done some unboxings and stuff, and I've got more stuff that I'll be talking about here in a couple of minutes. So but anyway, hello to everybody. It's been a couple of months now, and we hit a couple of milestones. Wow, 22,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. It's amazing. I never thought I was going to get 1,000 subscribers, let alone 22,000. And well over 4 million video views now, and hundreds of millions of minutes watched for all of the videos. So thank you, everybody. Continue to watch those movies, and totally appreciate it. Thank you guys for all of the good comments. I really appreciate that. My mother's doing really good. She just had her cataract surgery done early last week, and this is the first time she's been able to see in about 10 to 15 years. So it's been nice to be able to drive her around El Paso, and she's just enamored with the desert. You know, the mountains are beautiful, and you know, she just enjoys everything. So she's enjoying life a lot better now, and she's honestly, she's a whole nother person. So which is great. And I would hate to see where she'd be at right now if she was still in Florida. And you know, she even told me that she probably would be dead by now, which I don't know about that. She's a tough cookie, but she was in pretty bad shape when she came to Texas. So, but she's a whole nother person now. And speaking of good comments, I got one from Sean Baker on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking to me about the Lost Mine of Phandelver and the Nothic encounter. Remember, inside of the hideout for the Red Brands, there was a Nothic. And he said that, you know, the reason why he was telling me this is because my game inspired him and my channel inspired him. And I get a lot of these, and it's really humbling to get emails from people and YouTube comments saying, hey, Dave, you've been an inspiration for me. And this is the case for Sean Baker. So, you know, thanks so much, Sean. We kind of went back and forth for a little bit in Facebook messages and stuff, and totally appreciate it. I hope your LMOP game is going good. And he said that my channel and my game was a real inspiration for him. And he's just getting back into the hobby again at 44. So, hey, you're my age range, so hey, it's a perfect time to get back in. So, you know, thanks for the nice words, and welcome back to the hobby that we love. You know, I mean, it's such a great hobby. I love it, and I got the best job in the world. I mean, seriously, I work for Fantasy Grounds. I love the Fantasy Grounds program, and this is like the best job I've ever had. And I've been a store manager for Walmart, made 6 figures a year, and had all that stress. And, you know, this is like the dream job for me, working at Fantasy Grounds, honestly. I mean, I just love it. I love the interaction with all of the people because I do customer support and the Fantasy Grounds Friday streams and stuff. And, man, I just absolutely love it. It's like the best job in the world, man. So yeah, it's awesome. So I've got all my games back up and going again. We've been playing pretty consistently on Friday and Saturday night. So if you didn't know, I'm running D&D 5e, the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The group has just got to level 2. They decided to leave Xanathar's guild alone. You know, Xanathar and his Thieves Guild, because they said that there's really no reason to even mess with them, which I kind of agree. And I really like the way that the Dungeon of the Mad Mage game is going because, let's face it, it is a Murder Hobo Fest module. Kick in a door, roll initiative, and kill whatever's in there. I'm not playing it like that. I'm trying to RP as much as possible, and thank you guys for the comments on that. But I did not want a Murder Hobo show. I mean, I even had Lady Vava, based off of Lady Gaga, show up or something. It's just, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm not preparing at all for this game. The only preparing that I'm doing is actually replacing the tokens, the little round tokens that come with the module, with my top-down Devon Knight tokens with the square gray base on them. That's the only preparing that I'm doing. And it's the first game that I've ever done that, and I just kind of read as we go along, and if I'm like, oh wow, another encounter, I'll just turn it into something RP. So I think it's worked out really good. We just added another 5th player. We just added another a player, Belle. She's playing a Rihanna, another rogue. So we have 3 rogues in our party now. But Vay's not alone now. Vay's got another female in there to keep her company. So that's good. The game is going great. They just went down to level 2. And we'll be playing this actually tomorrow on April 5th and every other week after that. So my other game, the Dragon Heist game, that's going good. I think we're going on chapter 4 now. And I don't think it'll be too much longer until we wrap that game up. And when we wrap up Dragon Heist, we are going to be playing basic Dungeons and Dragons. And as you can see behind me, I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. This is all stuff that I've had since I was a kid, and this is just a portion of it. I didn't know what I had until recently. I kind of put it in the... I had a couple about 20 years ago. What is it? About 20 years ago when Al Gore created the internet and eBay and everything else. Well, when eBay came out, I just had my son, and I was strapped for money. I was paying buku money, $600+ a month child support and everything else, and I was like, man, maybe I want to sell my D&D stuff. And I had a bunch of basic Dungeons and Dragons stuff, about 100 books or so. And I was like, let's see how much this stuff is worth. So I looked, and it was like $2 a book, $3 a book, $4 a book, and I'm like, man, this isn't even worth selling when you figure in shipping, because media mail wasn't available back then. And I just said to hell with it. So I took, I have 110 Dungeons and Dragons, basic Dungeons and Dragons, 110 books, and I just put them in 2 comic book boxes. I got a bunch of the box sets and everything, and I just put them in comic book boxes and duct taped them shut, and I just towed them around for 20 years, And when we first started playing on Twitch with Vay and Chili and my other friends, my son, and we were playing basic D&D. And we played basic D&D for about a month until the 5e playtest came out. And then when the 5e playtest came out in early 2014, we started playing 5e. And that's all I've ever played. And I've just totally forgotten about basic Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I have been wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons again, and we are definitely going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to be playing in the world of Mystar, which is the default D&D world. There is the known world, which there are 14 gazetteers at about 60 to 100 pages apiece. There is a box set with 3 more books. There's like 1,500 pages of known world information of all these regions and territories, and I loved reading. And even though I didn't DM back then, I just loved Dungeons and Dragons, and I just bought all this stuff. And well, I will say a lot of the early stuff my mom bought me, because I would just bug the shit out of her, every week when she got paid for a book. And then when I became an adult, when I was a kid, I got kicked out, moved to Daytona, and lived there for a couple of years. You can read that story on my Patreon page as one of my Dave's Real Life Stories. But when I came back to the county that I moved away from, I mean, I had a great job. I was making about $50,000 a year as a meat. I ran a meat department for Winn-Dixie, a grocery store. I was on salary. I was making bank. And I was like, hey, I'm going to start buying D&D books again. So a lot of the newer D&D stuff that came out, you know, in the early 90s, I just started going to Walden Books. Yes, kids, when there were still bookstores out there, we had Walden Books in the mall that I would go to. And the manager would let me, whatever because I owned everything that they had. I didn't worry about advanced D&D first edition. There was a ton of second edition stuff, tons of box sets. I didn't worry about that. I just wanted basic D&D. And what I did was she would let me, all of their books were on microfiche. Another thing, kids, if you ever decide to go to college or anything, check out what microfiche is, because most campuses have a machine and a bunch of microfiche that you can look at old magazines and newspapers and scholarly journals and stuff. And she used to let me look at the microfiche every week because she would get a new one for all the games. And I would order all this D&D stuff. But I ended up with I have over 100 box sets and modules. I have every single B, C, X, well, CO for companion. I have all the X's, all 3 Immortals. There's some DAs. I'm missing a couple DAs. That was a Darkmoor series by Dave Arnson. There was actually a DA series and a DDA series, which some of them, like Eye of Trawler and stuff, in the corner over here. That's a D. Yeah, lower, way down there. So, but yeah, I got all the Gazetteers, and it's been fun to go, open up those boxes, and thankfully I sealed them up good, so no bugs got into the boxes over the years or anything like that. And yeah, sitting on a little gold mine that I didn't even know I had. I mean, this was the only stuff that I kept. I sold everything else that I had, all 12, 14 of those banana boxes. So it's been nice. It's been nice reading these again, and it's been bringing back a lot of memories as a kid too. So, but yeah, we're going to be playing a lot of D&T, and actually that's what I'm going to be. I'm going back to old school. I mean, I love Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, everybody, and I know this is going to cause an uproar, and everybody's going to be cussing me out, and I followed your channel for 5e, and I'm not going to follow your channel anymore, but guys, I'm eventually going to run nothing but D&D, and I want to run it in the known world. I've got all the Gazetteers. I want to put all this stuff to use, and I've never dungeon mastered D&D except for about a month or so when we first started, running games on Twitch and stuff. So, I'm eventually, after Dragon Heist, we're going back to D&D, basic D&D. My players want a challenge as well. So I'm going to be running 2 basic D&D games, and they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be high octane. Dungeons and Dragons is a whole nother monster, man. This game is relentless. It's ruthless. It's not like playing D&D 5e where everything is so easy for the players, and then at 5th level it really gets easy when Fireball thrown into the equation and extra attacks and all that, all those upgrades, sneak attack. I mean, this game is really tough, and I've told my characters, you better think of other characters to play too. So we're going to go old school. We're going to roll 3d6 right on down the line. So strength is going to be the first roll, etc. We're going to start out at max hit points at first level. We're going to use the optional weapon mastery system. We're going to use the optional skills system, the general skills system. We're going to use a couple of other optional rules for like spells. Instead of memorizing spells, I'm going to allow them to cast, for the magic user, whatever spell they have in their book, I'm going to let them cast it as long as they can cast that level spell. And for the clerics, they'll be able to cast all 7 first level cleric spells. So, the game isn't... there's a lot, believe me, there's 100, I didn't even know that there were 155 or 156 books and box sets. So I'm missing like 45 of them or 50 of them, but I mean, I'll get like a book at a time or something like that. I'm in no rush to get everything, but Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play basic D&D. I've been entering all the data into Fantasy Grounds, so I have a player's module that's actually done. I have a Dungeon Masters module that's going to be a work in progress forever, because that's going to have all of my monsters, rollable tables, treasure, magic items, encounters, etc. Then I'm going to be building a module for every single series of modules. So I'm starting with the B series. Then we'll go to X, etc. Maybe even go to DDA first. Maybe do some Darkmoor, because I do like Dave Arnson's Darkmoor. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about Dungeons and Dragons, the rules and mechanics, talking about the differences of the different editions and stuff. But those videos will be, they'll be spaced out. I'm hoping to get one done a week. So, and I'm probably going to have a D&D night on Thursdays every week on the Twitch channel, where I'm basically just going to talk about D&D. And, maybe I'll talk about the creature catalog back there. That orange creature catalog right there, that's the last updated creature catalog. And it has everything from the rules cyclopedia, and then it has pretty much a lot of new monsters. But then again, there's a ton of new monsters in all the other modules too. So, differences in like lions and panthers and tigers, oh my. But yeah, there's a lot of different monsters, a lot of different ghouls and zombies and undead. And it's going to be fun kind of just flipping through the books and, finding all these creatures and, everything else. It's going to be fun running. My goal is to run all of the modules. That's what I want to do. And I'll probably be running a couple at a time. So now, as for my D&D 5e game, after we're done with Waterdeep, like I said, we're going to be playing basic D&D, and then I'm going to have another basic D&D going. But my goal is, and even the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, we'll probably convert our characters to classic D&D, and we're going to run it old school Undermountain. And but we'll still run Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I'm just going to call it Undermountain because that's what it is. So I think the characters are level 5 right now. So that's they're a quarter of the way up to max level. So that would be a quarter of the way in the basic D&D. They would start at like level 9. They would start at level 9 or 10 in basic D&D. So they'll have a lot of spells. They'll be safe, but hey, the game is really relentless, and they'll have saving throws. They'll have some magic items and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this, because I want all 3 of my groups in the same world, because I want interaction with my groups as well. Like one group, I want them to be able to run into another group, and maybe both groups will go into the lands of Thar and take on maybe the Orc Warlord or something like that. And believe me, the Orc Warlord, if you don't have the Orcs of Thar Gazetteer, I think it's 9 or 10, the stats is like a full page. And he is like, I think he's 28 hit die with like 8 asterisks. I mean, he's a freaking crazy. He could probably beat Tiamat solo. 5e Tiamat. He could probably destroy her. But yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I don't know why I just ignored D&D, because this is what I grew up on, guys. I played D&D, basic D&D from 1984 to around 2000. And in a couple games after 2000, just periodically, groups would play and break up and stuff. So, yeah, totally love it. I cannot wait to get going. I'm going to take advantage of all the gazetteers, all of the marvelous magic that I got, and the wondrous inventions, and oh man, I just can't wait. And nobody's playing basic D&D. Everybody is playing D&D 5e. So hey, if you want death and destruction and a bunch of new players all the time, hey, D&D is going to be fun. So, and like I said, I'm going to be making a bunch of videos about basic Dungeons and Dragons and talking about all these books and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time transitioning to basic D&D. And I'm sorry if that's going to cause any guff with anybody, but I've been playing D&D 5e for 5 straight years, and you guys know I've been wanting to play other games, and I'm just going to be playing basic D&D now. And eventually I'll convert the Dungeon of the Mad Mage game to D&D, and it'll be Undermountain. And I'll eventually throw in some Savage Worlds too, because I love Savage Worlds. So we'll be doing we'll probably be doing some like Solomon Kane, maybe some East Texas University, Weird Wars, stuff like that. So as I mentioned before, Fantasy Grounds, company that I work for, Smiteworks, we've announced the Kickstarter for the new Fantasy Grounds Unity version. So that's going to be taking up a lot of time for me. So that's why that videos will probably be sparse and stuff. So I just want to warn you guys that I may have to move a couple of games around and stuff. Also, if you guys know about Dungeons and Dragons, they just announced their next live video stream. It's called The Descent, and it's May 17th through the 19th. Well, we're going. Fantasy Grounds, we're going. We're going to have a booth and all that stuff. So if you guys are going to The Descent, you can buy tickets and get in. You can buy like a single-day pass and a weekend pass. So I'll be in Los Angeles May 17th through the 19th. I'll be cosplaying along with John, Doug, and Jen. So we're going to have a booth. We're going to be hanging around. We're going to be talking with the fans. So if you guys are going to be at The Descent, stop by the Fantasy Grounds booth and say hi, because I would love to meet you guys. So definitely come by and say hi. And that's going to be it about it for me, except for the last thing is my Patreon update. So the Patreon update is, still got 61 patrons. I appreciate all of my patrons. All of the show notes have been mailed out for last month and this month. So expect a bunch of goodies. I actually packed every envelope full. So I've also got some new cool stuff that I'll be sending out next month to everyone that gets show notes. So check those out. I've also put on hold because of Unity and getting everything squared away. I've put on hold creating content, but I'm still doing maps. So everybody's getting at least a couple of maps every month. So if you're a patron at the dollar pledge, you'll get one map. I didn't do a bonus map last month, but I'll be doing a bonus map or a couple of bonus maps. And the bonus maps are usually sci-fi or modern day. So they're 2000 by 2000 pixels, 100 by 100 grid. They line up perfectly first time if you're going to use Fantasy Grounds or any other virtual tabletop out there. So yeah, check out my maps at the $5 and up pledge. You'll get a bonus map on top of the other bonus map. So, and that's going to be it for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Don't be too brutal on me for going back to old school and going back to my roots, because I played this game for 15 years and I just absolutely love it. And I want a challenge for my players. And I think you guys would like basic D&D as well. So thank you, everybody. I totally appreciate it. Like I said, leave a comment down below. And until next time, happy gaming and stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.